Hey everybody, Sean here. Just gonna do this week's video. This week's video will be about empathy. So, uh, you may not like what I have to say. I think you will, but it's gonna be a little rough for me. So hang with me. Anyway, empathy, as defined by the Merriam-Webster dictionary, is the imaginative projection of a subjective state into an object so that the object appears to be infused with it, or the act of understanding, being aware of, being sensitive to, and vicariously experiencing the feelings, thoughts, and experiences of another, either past, present, or without having feelings, thoughts, or experience fully communicated in an objectively explicit manner. Also the capacity for this. Well, I'm not here to talk about what the dictionary has to say. I'm going to talk about what I have to say. And I've read a lot, and I tried to do a lot of research for you guys. I wanted to give you like this really awesome video and like be able to cite people and show things and be able to you'd be like, wow, he's so smart. Whoa, look at this guy go. But I looked, and it was so much of it was impersonal. So much of it was about answering questions. I didn't like it. I found one. And it was debunking 6 myths about Asperger's syndrome, and it's from PsychCentral.com, and it says myth: they lack empathy, and then it goes on to some stuff. It basically talks about the difference between two kinds of empathy called cognitive empathy and emotional empathy. And people with Asperger's syndrome struggle with cognitive empathy, but have no problem with emotional empathy. So basically, isn't able to intellectually infer that the coworker lost their cat might be sad, especially at the moment. But they might realize this hours later at home. But when they do know the person is sad, they're able to feel sadness without any difficulty, perhaps even more intensely than typical people. In other words, they have difficulty expressing empathy in a conventional way, and it's a problem of communication, not empathy. Well, I like that. I kind of like that explanation. It works for me. It about me. I know I promised about a 5-minute video, but we're 2 minutes in. I'm not even halfway through what I want to say. By the way, this isn't something I shave. My hair doesn't grow there, but I like the beard. So, well, empathy. So yeah, I have a friend. We were a couple, and she'd say that I didn't have empathy, and she said that I wouldn't listen to her. And we had a really hard time communicating. I really wish, by the way, I'm going to plug this book right before we get anywhere in a story time. This book, let's see, this book is called, see if you can read it, The Journal of Best Practices. I got it from my library. Kind of looks like this with the folding shirt thing. It's by a guy named David Finch. David's a really cool guy. He did a lot on this. This book has a lot on empathy. It's about him and his wife and their journey from friends to marriage to where they are, a couple of kids doing really well in Illinois. And he has a lot to say about empathy, and I really highly recommend it if you want another perspective. But about me, I'm going to talk about the night that I broke up with my friend. Not as friends, but as dating. And we were having a lot of problems, and we were fighting all night. And I was so overwhelmed with emotion. I felt everything I felt. I felt everything she felt, and I was shutting down. I was shutting down, and I was getting angrier. And I have inherited the characteristic from my father where I can say the most hurtful thing. I'm trying to check my notes here, trying to make sure the light's right. Sorry. And I can just nail people, you know. And I said some really hurtful things, and she started crying, and I ignored it. I was not a good person. I ignored how she felt, and she kept crying. I couldn't take it. I mean, we'd been fighting all night. I think we started fighting in mid-evening, and it was now early morning. You know, it's 2 in the morning, and we were in her apartment. We were out of her apartment, and I was in, I was out, and she pulled me in, and we started talking, and pulled me in by, she convinced me to come inside through the strength and power of and intelligence of her words. She, I'm going to say this publicly because she doesn't believe me, but I'm just going to say this. She is incredibly intelligent, and she is incredibly creative, and she is incredibly perceptive and wise in so many ways. I haven't been with her in 4 months. I still admire this woman. You know, we were friends before we were together, and we're friends still. And I know she's probably going to see this, but yeah. So I'm talking about a person I deeply care about. And she was crying, and I could feel everything she felt. I couldn't keep up. I was angry, I was upset, and I couldn't keep up with the conversation, and my emotions were getting in the way, and I could see that she was upset, and for me, if a stranger breaks his leg, if somebody I don't know dies, it doesn't matter. But this is somebody that does matter a lot, and she may not matter to you. Maybe you have Asperger's and I don't care about her. And I totally understand that. And it's totally and absolutely fine. I'm telling you, people who have Asperger's, people who are autistics and watching this video now, it is absolutely fine that you don't care about my friend. Okay? Understand that. I'm fine with that. She's fine with that. Understand. You're fine. Okay? I lost it. Right then, I couldn't hold on to that anger anymore. And I started bawling my eyes out. Because here was a woman that I had promised to never hurt. To never, ever in my life bring any pain to. And I was making her cry. And I was making her hurt. And everything I'd done, and we had a lot of problems. But I had lost faith. I had lost the path of believing that we could overcome them. And it was only for a few minutes, but it was enough. And this person that I had promised, I failed in that moment. And I cried, and I asked for her forgiveness. And she forgave me, because she's really strong. And I forgave her. I forgave her first, because I had to. I've never had to forgive anyone. I had to forgive her. If you're wondering if Aspies can have empathy, I've just shown you I can. It's not easy. 9/11 happened, 8,000 people died. And I was pissed off because my roommate's friend was going to have to stay with us for another week, as it turned out. And I couldn't care about those 8,000 people. I still don't care about those 8,000 people. Had I still been in the National Guard, I would have gone to Afghanistan or Iraq to fight about those 8,000 people. And I would have done it. I had given my word. But I still don't care. And people die all over the world, and I don't care, and I don't care. But if someone I care about is hurt, I care. My cousin was hurt, and I care. But there's problems in my family, and I care. I have been known to say, what good is my strength if I can't save those I love? And cry. My mom is hurt, my dad is sick, I care. Okay? I just don't know how to express it. And that's okay. I can learn, and I can try, and I can improve. And I may never, ever be normal. But I can read David Finch's book, and I can attempt to become that, and I can be with people who understand, and I can have empathy. Good day.